The Navajo story goes that in ancient times, Dinediyini, the holy people, heard the cries of a baby on a mountaintop. They found a baby girl lying on a bed of flowers. She was the daughter of night and dawn. They took her to raise as one of them. At the time of her first menstruation, they created the Kinaalda ceremony to honor and bless her. She grew into a powerful supernatural being, a mother who gave birth to the Navajo people and ensured their survival through future generations. She was named Asanatlehe. She gave all Navajo girls the Kinaalda ceremony so they too would be honored and blessed for their womanhood. I wanted to come to Tanya's ceremony because I never had a Kinaalda. I asked my sister Jane why I was not given the gift meant for every Navajo girl. She said it was probably because of school and that I was away from the reservation. She and my other sisters had already had their ceremonies before Morenci.
Kinaalda ligeheki et ekayajin leis adakha section latsatta tonle wachattin tsatta panahaji ko Kinaalda ile ya altsata altse beba haljashiki yat adolle alle nahagapal bejimpal elkapal naso bebe trahya hot etol bebets is hatalt eto bebegal hatalt edo ban sakhesto ban hat ato nashne nje yat galtole.
Jane is Tanya's grandmother. She takes seriously her responsibility of passing our people's tradition on to the children. Tanya knows very little of what the ceremony is about. Yet she understands that her rite of passage is important to her and her family. Through her rite of passage, her identity and her connection to her people and culture will be clarified and established. I wanted to look in on Tanya's ceremony to understand Kinaalda and to perhaps re-establish my connection to my Navajo world. Perhaps by being a part of Tanya's, I can recapture a little bit of something precious that belongs to my people that should have been mine and was not. But how can something that has been gone a lifetime be recovered? While at Morenci, I didn't really think about Kinaalda one way or another. But now that my parents are gone, my two sons are grown, and I have accomplished most of what I had hoped to accomplish, I began looking back over my life, and I see that one important piece is missing. Tanya's mother Elta selects only the best white corn to make alkan. She wants Tanya's cake to turn out just right. It's something she will proudly tell others about. How perfect it was, how sweet.
Aman linigi Kinaalda pa mahaki akonanat inzanoko sichen jano nagatole jano ban sakes nat itole stan bahajon in lidon zo yaili ena ta yeshuyolt eto ado jano nagan lini yaili alkhatolgeki.
As the preparation for the event gets underway, a medicine man is engaged to conduct the ritual, and a woman mentor who will guide the girl through the ceremony is selected.
Kinaalda hatliya kulliya Adinta yolkoi behtel javik ja yolkoi sabat on nijen. Kota adi bada hajil last hui. Ja hai Kinaalda hatilne. Sani da hota titi, so the sani da hota titi. Vikiako balchen sana haidele Kinaalda hatilne. Yada bahast khel bakai hatilne, ntlas bahast khel bakai hatilne. Sana gai hajan. Becha hojan bakai, janne kota da ujistoi. Ebikiako ja hatilne, ebikiako hatilne. Ako beked at det gon livet sitt arskat ali. Adinta tabetsibet loto adinta nabel esilne hikrasilne.
Ato joten nossaan tallissota. Na ittiistä tallissa. Jotilta has ei. Nyt has ei. Ei nahin tallissa. En jänäsli.
To the Navajo people, a sanatlehe, today referred to as changing woman, is a universal symbol of womanhood, of birth and rebirth. From the moment the ceremony begins, with every step Tanya takes in the ritual, she moves forward into the spiritual realm, closer to becoming a sanatlehe. Her mentor shows her the way. My mother, like Nellie, has guided many young girls through their rite of passage. People lend Kinaalda their beautiful blankets and other valuables for her use and blessing. In return, she will be graced with such things. Displaying valuables and beautiful things enhances the likelihood that they will increase in kind. Children are so important to Kinaalda. Little girls look on knowing their turn will soon come. Seeing children at the ceremony reminds me of the joy children brought to my mother. She used to say, children are our riches and happiness. After the preparation and Kinaalda is dressed, her hair is ritually tied, signifying the start of the ritual. Tanya's mother, Elta, wanted someone kind and strong to guide her daughter. She chose her Aunt Nellie, in whose footsteps Tanya will follow.
When a young girl becomes of age, then you invite the person that you admire the most. You go to them and tell them that you want that person to tie the Kinaalda's hair so that it's like blessing her with it too. The reason why we chose my aunt, her grandma, is she's living alone and she does a lot of things like caring for the livestock and keeping the house. She does that all by herself, so I really admire her. She is deeply into the culture and the traditional things, and she's very fluent in Navajo, my aunt. So that's what I want my daughter to know more about.
Tying her hair symbolically retains and sustains all that she is to be graced with during her Kinaalda for her journey in life. Tanya is now ready for her first molding. The Navajos believe that during Kinaalda, a girl's mind and body are supple and open to any influence. Her mentor presses beauty, happiness, prosperity, and strength into her. From the top of her head to the soles of her feet, she is shaped into a whole and ideal human form. As people receive their valuables back, they thank the Kinaalda for the honor of her use of them. As they thank her, they honor Sanatlehe as well. Everyone wants Tanya to do well in the ritual. For them, success in meeting all the requirements shows that she is ready for the role she is about to assume. During her ceremony, Kinaalda cannot have sugar, salt, or too much sleep. She must exhibit behaviors and attitudes that are pleasing. The lessons are to last her a lifetime. After her first run, the pit oven is measured, dug, and prepared for Alkan on the east side of the ceremonial lodge.
Okay. Sure.
It must be perfectly round to follow the shape of the sun, which embodies the power of life. The people are so meticulous about every part of the ritual. I can understand how Navajo women are so strong. What they learn, what they go through at their ceremony gives them everything they need to live. While the women carry out the details of the ceremony, the men chop wood, haul water, and dig the pit oven. It is the men who nurture the sacred ritual. They are the guardians of the ceremonial fire and water that birth and nourish life. I wondered why not build a permanent stone Alkan oven that can be used over and over again. But I realized that every Kinaalda must have one made just for her. The more I learned from the people at the ceremony, the more I began to feel a part of the celebration. In the Treaty of 1868, the United States promised the Navajo people schools on their reservation. Yet for nearly a century, no schools were built for Navajo children. Instead, thousands of Navajo youths were sent to off-reservation boarding schools in other states. The result for the Navajo children was loss of contact with their language and culture. Fortunately, though, the Navajo people never let go of their ceremonies. Today, the Kinaalda belongs to the children again.
Kinaalda ilyaho ko iya tsalke jike bakaija. Jo bin tsakesen le khashinilso ye kaija halto. Ko all inlenigi hinnache iketi hinnache yehosi hinnache bin tsakes jono ko ili. Di shika leniki alto paholla. Bebahos niki kolno alto Kinaalda olgeheki. Ja bebewosiki bezatiki lahoti change it. Ako eki bebahos alto ahot abal inde jin akonde it o I gash ja bejint bal I.
If I had had my Kinaalda, there are two things I would have skipped. One is grinding corn. It is physically demanding. But to leave out any part of the ceremony is forbidden.
Kinaalda no tao na alne ako inata iya asoko chon itra mil la enaspiri dalie la iya patot dalie to ibil ida chon tratetin da ditno ibe bila trato dalle hoi akot a da da chon ida in ya hot ana alnesa toy hot ag a ho indo so in lengi
Dasni di kal ado tol kan di ochak apa nda kabel shimpe ipepe de hat kaya hot kese tundi da ochak pa long lit de shin hat hot de helen de pa
As I watch this event, I understand how important a rite of passage is to an entire culture. The son or daughter is acknowledged and celebrated when they reach this transformation. They learn they have a greater connection and greater meaning for their community beyond their families and beyond themselves. Kinaalda gets help from others, but she must do most of the grinding herself. After 2 days of grinding corn, Kinaalda blesses the cornmeal in the 4 directions. She then gives the cornmeal to others to help mix. One of her helpers is her Uncle Peter. Peter has 3 daughters who will soon be having their Kinaalda. The whole family and the community will help them at that time. He knows the physically demanding work involved, such as carrying the scalding hot water to mix the cornmeal. Mixing takes place on the 3rd day. Any even number of greasewood sticks tied together is used to mix the cornmeal.
Watch, this is very hot. This bowl just
The women bring their own stirring sticks.
Try not to splash it on your plate.
Some have had them for many years and were given them when they had their own Kinaalda.
I'll
Each stirring stick represents a female warrior who protects and guards the woman. When Kinaalda receives her stirring sticks, she accepts the warrior's guardianship for as long as she possesses them. By this time, I've begun to see the ceremony from their point of view, with every element of the ritual taking on a life of its own. When we lived at Morenci, Julia and her family took care of our livestock. She's older than me by some years. I always looked up to her. When I left the reservation back then, she stayed. I recently learned that she never went to school because she was needed at home. I didn't know if I should be sad or pleased for her, that she missed being a part of the greater universe outside her own sanctuary. Julia is like the land she is rooted to, unchanging, secure, and beautiful. Meeting her again was like seeing my life as it might have been, as it was when I was a child. She tells me that the old people, the old world are gone, but I could see them all in her face. It is only once in a girl's life that she will be honored in this way.
Nan Ilya Bulienli Betlat. I was a lot like Shada now, because I'm not safe, only has 3 sons who live on some car.
As my mother got older, she spent the winters with us in the city. We had lost my father in 1968, and she was alone. Her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, of whom she had many by then, lived close to her. But the winters were hard on her, and she wanted to be with us. We came to know one another again. As she taught me how to weave, she would tell us Navajo stories and songs. She talked about our spiritual bond to our Creator and the spiritual beings. I wonder now why I did not ask her the reason I was not given a Kinaalda. Maybe I realized it was not so important. Perhaps just being with my mother was enough. It was during this time that I began to notice she forgot things more and more. There were not too many winters left for her.
I don't think the name will Yashine Lala take Kashi. A Baliadi, Kadi, Hashing Soba, Liai, that be to cut a picture. Kadina some Kai got of it all. Good.
Kan la be han jan li hot at ni alt to hot an li hot jo a to sto na na kho jo ko no hot ko a to at epenan ne hot a se ko shapik ho a den jon ho to is ya ho to is jon no ta is Yo no ta ilka, yo no ta.
Nada nil.
Ina ta ni khate tina ta hot no to liko. Ati ana ta o ta hayo do li.
Ina nakata.
Ati inan let a honana ta. Ati ne o ta ti kan nan le. A hot ala sat soi.
Kota ba kada ikidel na nailia che ke sul ke kholi la no la na na aja. Adin da shabke no ta sa kes na ta de eto inna de eto ni be kya il de shabke ha ade no il kha.
You got ready?
Seed.
One of the men's duties is to keep the fire burning all night long to make sure Alkan bakes. It is now the last night of the ceremony. While Alkan bakes, the ritual begins in the ceremonial lodge. Everyone joins the medicine man as he conducts the final ritual that fulfills the attainment of the power of regeneration. The second thing I would skip is the last night of the ceremony, if I had had my Kinaalda. It is the toughest for all Kinaalda. She must sit on the floor all night with legs stretched out in front of her. She must not sleep. No one must leave the room. For this night is also the most sacred. The ancient words of the holy people and their songs are revealed and entrusted to her by the medicine man. Up to this moment, it has been the mentor and the women who have guided Tanya through the ritual. Tonight, only the medicine man and the mentor will guide her to the pinnacle of her journey. On this last morning of her ceremony, she is said to be more than a human being. She has been made holy so that she can claim her place in the Navajo universe and be one with Asanatlehe. She is a personification of perfect womanhood, of birth and rebirth. As her tasks are repeated for the last time, the ceremony is now more of a joyous celebration of renewal. For the Navajo girl, Kinaalda means she is a Asanatlehe, the first Kinaalda. It is a Asanatlehe who showed how important a woman's role is in the survival of the Navajo people. Every Kinaalda is empowered by the ceremony, by the women who nurture Kinaalda, and by the men who support the women in the ceremony.
Katiyan nes iska. Di eyan si hon nes to. Ayo it oto listida. Wato it oto imiya. Nan shinukwa. Ato na nan nes to. Ato yo na iti stolis. Yo an nes to na. Si to na nes to. Di itinda. Ato on di ne. Ati kajo na nezi. Usta na nis kajo. Au attention. Nesto ko betahti o izi no te. Ati chen na tatel. Nes na tantle. Hot au.
They say Kinaalda now possesses the healing power of Asanatlehe. People approach Tanya one by one. Children want to be tall, she stretches them.
Ito nesto. Ito tegonot. Odmion nesto but
Others simply want her blessing. Some, like her Uncle William, have special requests.
Pecha bindi Kinaalda.
I got out. Kinaalda.
Tanya has gone through a transformation in the same way as a sanatlehe. As a symbol of the life cycle, a sanatlehe changes along with the ever-changing seasons. Spring, summer, winter, and spring again. Each day at dawn, she is a young girl. As the day progresses, she matures until at the end of the day, she is old and wise. When the next dawn arrives, she is again young, beautiful, and vibrant.
Sanin linigi eyati howan sa anki jo benhat asala. Ako di Kinaalda ille ho jo at beilzi nahallen. Di de nahagabal iho. Ako anle kontel klito honiski sa trando. Chiyan sa lado kung dahis kung dahi. Ako ego howan linigi nsaha kesbi sala. Nahat abi sala. Ado kashin na beha hat to nilto be o talo jo ba at eko beniya bali.
Alkan is ready. The coals have been removed from the oven, and Alkan has been cooling during the last moments of the ritual.
الكاتشين إيا أيال الإنجن إيشين لي خطخالي دا وكان بيال داليا دولتو إيجاكي بيال دوشين هصان أخد بيال بألي.
Tanya went through her rite of passage to establish her place in the Navajo universe. I went to search for mine. Tanya began her journey from that ancient time when Kinaalda was first created for changing woman. Through my film, I became a part of my past. Going back to Morenci and back to the reservation was like returning home. I came to know my mother again. I can smile at her now because I realize that it was not any particular place, but my parents who shaped my life. My mother and father lived their lives as a gift. They lived the courage, strength, and happiness that Tanya and I learned at the Kinaalda.